Jesus. Every time.
Every time. Okay, well, we're recording because the nice robot lady said we were recording. I don't know about nice. It happened. That's all I will say. But welcome back to another This Week in Wrestling video. Now there's 3 of us because we changed the day. If only to it's okay, it's Michelle's fault, but I wasn't gonna
It is
blame
my
him.
fault, 100%. I take the blame on this one.
Scheduling is
I am
hard.
the Roman Reigns of the situation.
You know what? I'm gonna just say that we'll call this an experiment and see if posting on a Monday is better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll take the lemon and it'll turn into lemonade, as they say. But
oh, no,
yeah,
I can see my
my
shirt in the back.
It's a shirt. You're wearing it. Everyone's gonna see it anyway.
No, this thing.
Oh, fuck off. No one cares.
That's fine.
I'll just crop it out of the frame.
Nobody cares about the dirty laundry that's just laying on the ground. It's a home. These things happen.
You can just crop a little up and it'll be fine.
Just add like
we
a
can
sticker.
still see your faces.
Just put a sticker there like you do on Instagram, like when you don't want people to see that's in the back.
Yeah, for like an hour-long video. Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, this week, last week we didn't talk about Extreme Rules because it happened on the Sunday after we already recorded. So I think there's nothing better than to start with Extreme Rules, a show I watched half of, and then Extreme Rules
because the logo's bad.
Normal Rules. There was one Extreme Rules match.
Yeah, I watched the back half of it.
Oh, so together we got the full show. I watched the first half of the show. You watched the
I watched the back half of the show also because I was sitting working on the the recording, editing it. So
okay.
Underwhelming is what I will say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aggravating is what I will say.
Yes, I was wondering, considering Finn and everything, what you felt about it. I'm gonna let you take this one. Go ahead, Michelle. Let's hear it.
Yeah, from space this time because of technical difficulties. WWE very, very strangely came up with one of the greatest segments, parts of a match in all of their programming, with going in mode and just beating the crap out of Roman with his theme music playing in the background. It was great. And then they Looney Tunes it, and the rope broke and he fell on his legs and died. It was pathetic and embarrassing is the
Roman
words I would use.
Paul Heyman just screamed catchphrases into the camera as we faded to black.
Yeah.
It was very upsetting because I was I actually turned because I just had it on in the background as background noise because my friend Lav and I were chatting while I was editing video, and I saw the lights turn red and I had it on my second monitor. So I looked left and I was like, oh, this is so cool. His theme music is playing. He's going he's beating the shit out of Roman Reigns. He's going up for the coup de grace. And then I saw it snap, and my friend was actually there. And because everyone was standing up, he couldn't see who was supposed to be the offender. And spoiler alert for SmackDown, I guess we still don't know who did it.
I think that it's just the rope broke. I think that's where we're going to end up on a divine act of something or another.
That's well, I'm not sure what I prefer. I'm not sure if I prefer that we don't talk about this whatsoever over a 4-month story about who did it.
See, I honestly would rather prefer the 4-month story because it guarantees Finn has some sort of feud, because I don't think he was on SmackDown.
He wasn't.
Yeah, and the other thing too is WWE just, if we don't get an explanation, it's clearly WWE thinking that the audience is not savvy to the world of media to the point where they will excuse and suspend their disbelief enough to believe that the WWE's ropes just broke. And that is also it's expected at this point, but it's also in my mind a new low for them. you know, coupled with whatever is happening between Edge and Seth Rollins, which we'll get to shortly. Like, it's just, I know, and Will pointed this out, and I totally agree, that WWE does have a level of soap opera drama that just isn't found to the same degree and the same polish in other promotions. Like, I very much enjoy watching daytime soaps. Like, that was the one thing that my parents and I would keep up on. Like, we take our lunch break to watch daytime soaps. Hell, one of my favorite parts of wrestling is being the elite. But when this is like, it's gone from The Young and the Restless to Passions. And those that lived through the mid 2000s, Passions was a very normal soap opera for a little while. And then a woman came back from the dead. And then there was a witch, Agatha, and her little minion, Timmy. And
this is true.
It just went completely bonkers ass from there. Like Buffy, but it was still supposed to be normal. Like, it was still a normal soap opera. And I feel like that's kind of what WWE has had, this like slow slide into just utter absurdity. But it's not Twin Peaks is the thing. Like, Twin Peaks, the absurdity serves a point. This doesn't serve a point other than to just be nonsensical storytelling that we're just supposed to accept. And that's, I think, what bothers me. And like, yeah, obviously, if you don't watch. Well, you know, we're here to critique it as media personnel.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem is, like, half the time I do like it, even with this Roman Reigns stuff, everything about Paul Heyman being terrified because his ex came back and is going to beat the crap out of him is amazing. Like, this whole Roman Brock feud is the first time Roman and Brock has felt like a meaningful conflict. And it's surprisingly really enjoyable.
But it comes at the expense of Finn.
Yeah, like, and also you could have easily just said Brock Lesnar broke the ropes. That's it. That's the story.
Or you could have had Brock come and do it.
Or
it still feels like a WWE cheapy finish.
Or Paul,
way, but...
because the implication is that Paul is still on, and again, this happened on SmackDown, like, Paul is still on Brock's side, and he's still helping Brock, even though he's Roman's advocate. So there's some kind of like incestuous thing that Paul is doing. But so, like, if Paul was just the one that set up the rope break so that so that Roman would redirect his attention from Finn to Brock, that makes total sense. It's like, I want you to be in the feud that I want you to be in because Brock is still secretly my guy. You know, that all makes sense. And it also
tracks with what Paul Heyman's done. Like, you could even call that back to him creating the Shield to defend CM Punk's title reign. Yeah. Like, this is a whole thing he could do. But maybe they'll do it. Maybe this will be somewhere in the lead up to Crown Jewel or something. But I don't see it happening if it hasn't already.
No, and like, that was the main event of a pay-per-view that we knew wasn't going to be like, there was going to be nothing going on. We got Alexa Bliss, who's now written off of television.
Yeah.
With some just
she supposedly has a really bad sinus infection and she's getting sinus surgery. Whether you believe that or not, frankly, I'm just glad to have her out after what was frankly an incredible performance on her part after losing. And then just completely undone by both the producers and the camera crew.
Yeah.
Like, you know, obviously we're in the modern era. You can't pull the Vaseline filter and practical effects to the degree that you could, you know, way back when in B-movie horror. But at the very least, you can frame the shot in a way that doesn't show an Alka-Seltzer tablet on top of her mouth. And people were like, oh, she forgot to chew it. Dude, she just wrestled a match and like screamed her lungs out. Do you think there's any saliva left in her mouth? Like, I think she can be forgiven for maybe not doing something that she could have done when who has direct control over how she's being presented as the camera crew and the producers. So,
yeah. And like, also the tag team championship match that happened, was good, but I have more than one bone to pick with the people that apparently love the Usos so much. If you love the Usos so much, why are you talking about the Young Bucks when the Usos are doing their match on the TV just to say that the Usos are better than the Young Bucks?
That is ridiculous.
Every time. Listen, everybody knows kind of what I'm about, but that shouldn't be your focus. Let's talk about the Usos and why you love them. Like, let's not. Why you gotta do that? Stop it. Like,
they're not the only like family tag team. In fact, there are many family tag teams, men's tag teams.
The Young Bucks just lost a match against a family tag.
Exactly.
Yeah, who are now the champions. They're brothers, you know.
Like, the Bucks aren't even champs anymore. Just like,
yeah.
Stop.
The one thing I do want to say, going back to Alexa very briefly, is it is frustrating to see her lose at home.
Yeah.
Like her home pay-per-view, because she is from Ohio. She had Ohio State gear, which, you know, like, obviously I'm from Ohio, or not from Ohio. I live in Ohio now. My family's all from Ohio. I was big Ohio State people. Ohio State has their issues in terms of coaching and admin structure. However, it's very, very meaningful for her. And this was also a callback to the last time she wrestled in Ohio. Her gear was like almost the same, but, you know, like Lilyified, if you will. But, you know, so she lost, you know, all this happens. She's got a boyfriend in Hollywood now. Honestly, like, she should, in my opinion, like, if she did like web series or like B-movie horror or whatever for the rest of her life, like, she'd be set and she'd be great at that. And she's just not, you know, maybe when she comes back they'll do a total reset, but it just sucks to. And I also felt like, I know Charlotte can put on a good match because she put on a good match with Rhea earlier in the year, but at least for me, I felt like Charlotte was completely stiff in this whole match. Like, Alexa did some frankly incredible sequences, and it just seemed like Charlotte was stiff as a board. I don't know if either of you felt that, but it was just frustrating because I'm like, I know Charlotte can wrestle a good match. I know Alexa's trying to wrestle a good match. Maybe they just didn't have the chemistry.
It's the booking.
But
it's like,
yeah, I think just when the match is centered around this Lily stuff, it's hard for someone like Charlotte, an extreme conventional, as we've seen in her matches with Rhea. She's not like that. That's not what she does, and it doesn't come out right, I think.
Like, she has to have the right motivation in her head and like know where it's the direction, like character direction.
Yeah, it's like like Brock. Like, Brock can put on an incredible match with somebody, or
if he cares about the match at all,
yeah, or not. Yeah, so it was extremely underwhelming. Downright damaging to some things.
Also, I just want to get ahead and say I think we should talk about the draft while we're talking about Extreme Rules, because there's a lot of things that kind of go hand in hand here.
Yes.
Like Bianca getting screwed out of the title match, which I actually thought was annoying, but not the worst thing that could have happened to her.
So I thought it was annoying, but not the worst thing also. Like, I was just kind of like, oh, okay. So Charlotte,
like, hey, Sasha's back. That's nice.
But they're using it as a way to screw her out of anything. And then I was listening to try to help refresh my brain and also like catch up on the parts of SmackDown that I didn't watch, because I was just like, I can't do this. And that's kind of like, I vowed, like, I'm just gonna listen to recaps from now on, because it gives me what I need. But I had almost forgotten that one of the most important matches this year, and maybe one of the most important main events of a pay-per-view ever, this year, and it was Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania Night 1, in which two Black women faced off for the main event. And that was Bianca's like big break. That's how she won the title in the first place. And she was denied the Bianca and Sasha was denied the rematch at SummerSlam because of whatever reason she was out. We don't know. And then how they set up the rematch is for Sasha to do a run-in at Extreme Rules, and then for that rematch to just kind of happen.
Yeah,
Like,
because,
when you
and
put
this
it
is
into
why I wanted to
perspective
bring
like
up
that.
the, sorry.
Oh no, I'm just saying, when you put it into perspective like that, it's like extremely doing these women and that moment that they had, like that WrestleMania moment, a disservice, like when you see what the follow through is and like what happened after that. It's like you have a moment and then that's all that matters, is just that one moment.
But like, this is also why I wanted to bring up the draft, because Bianca has been drafted to Raw now. So this rematch that they had is likely one of the only chances they're going to have to capitalize at all. And it's not going to be on a pay-per-view. It's just going to be on some random SmackDown right before Bianca leaves the brand.
Yeah. And like the draft is... This draft is a little strange. I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. We kind of know what's going to happen tomorrow. But like, it broke up the New Day again.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just expecting that to happen. I think they want to make sure Big E is solo, and they don't. And honestly, while the New Day are together, I have this intrinsic fear that they're going to do to Big E what they did to Kofi, squash him for the title, send him back to the tag division, and like not even bring it up. So I think there is an upside to splitting them, in that Big E is guaranteed, even if he loses the title, even if he loses the title in a shitty way, he's guaranteed to stay by himself and stay a Saints wrestler and feel like a big deal. And Kofi wasn't given that, and that was one of the like most frustrating things that WWE ever did for me. So I'm a little less against it than most people, but like I do understand the frustration.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's funny when you see like teams split up so much. And like when you see what WWE does to tag teams, and like the eventual story in every tag team in WWE, like on a long enough timeline, all the tag teams in WWE feud with one another and are broken up.
And factions.
Yeah, and factions. And I think people are kind of like, they're like kind of bred for it now, like, because every once in a while I'll hear like, oh, I think that if the Young Bucks feuded, it would be interesting, and I'm like
the Elite are gonna break up.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't think so. In fact, one of like the most nuanced things about the story with the Elite, like, is that they didn't break up. In fact, like the non-breakup or the refusal to like go your separate ways when you should, maybe for even just a little bit, like caused this toxic soup to happen.
Yeah,
like, it's
or
not
like
a healthy relationship.
Or look at how frustrated people were during the recent like Dark Order dissent and kind of fracturing. You know, obviously they're back together now, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, but you know, AEW at least puts your investment in this, whereas WWE, I feel like, has just bred you to be more callous in that way. And because they're also most likely breaking up the bloodline, because we don't know where the Usos are going. That's happening on Raw. And then we didn't also get, like, Paul Heyman just said he would take care of it. Like, he didn't make any concrete promise to Roman. So the only other thing that people were thinking might happen, that I saw people talking about, is maybe there'll be a trade for the Usos and the New Day. But I don't know. Regardless, that would be kind of weird, I think. It's just all, you know, it's such a like devil's bargain, right?
Yeah. And like just like people are swapping brands, and Hit Row got brought up.
Oh god, my heart fell. That was the last thing I saw live when Hit Row came out, because I was just sitting, you know, Charlie turned it on, and I was kind of cleaning up dinner and stuff, and like Hit Row's music came on, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, they didn't show up.
Yeah, I had the opposite. Honestly, I'm very excited to see them on the main roster. I think of all the acts on NXT, they are the most polished right now, even if they're not the best wrestlers.
For sure. I just like, I'm worried that BFAB will get like the Nia Jax treatment, so to speak,
Mhm.
where they will push her to wrestle before she's really ready and will never really give her the training that she needs to really be a star. Because I think she could be a star if they build her right. And I'm just so... Because, like, I do legitimately like them from watching NXT. Like, they just have such a good charisma and everything. So that's why and I understand, like, there's some folks in the faction that are just really good wrestlers. But I was, like, really excited for BFAB to finally get her day in the sun. And now I fear. And I think that fear is warranted. And then I do want to bring up really quick too the fucking Peacock issues, just totally ruining Liv Morgan's moment.
Michelle, I don't know if you know this. During the pre-show match, there was both English and Spanish audio broadcasted through the same channel.
Yeah, well, and then they were swapped, so people that had the Spanish, their like Peacock set to Spanish, were getting the English feed, and then we were getting the Spanish feed, and then they tried to fix it, and we got both. And then for a little while, we got French. It was, and then it kept glitching so bad that you couldn't see the match anyway. It was awful on like set-top boxes. Depending on which way you were watching, you may or may not have been able to actually see the pay-per-view. And this was like these were widespread issues. Everyone was talking about it on Twitter. So, you know, during what was a very good match and, you know, kind of a blow off of some of what Liv has been working towards for a while in her feud with Carmella. Well, it could have been a good moment. I don't know, because I could not understand what was going on and I couldn't see it. So that was all anyone was talking about, was the Peacock issues, not the match, the quality or lack thereof. Like,
well, I mean, if you remember, Peacock also had some moments directly before the men's Money in the Bank match.
I do remember that.
Oh yeah.
And apparently it's been really bad during football too, so it's not just WWE. It's purely a Peacock problem. Because the other thing is
a bad platform.
Yeah, it's bad platform for live events. Oddly enough, for VODs, it may be one of the best streaming services out there. Surprisingly enough. But again, people that were watching on the network overseas had no issues. So I can't imagine that it will be good when we put even more variables, such as an ocean, between the broadcast and the Peacock data centers at Crown Jewel.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, can't wait to see what kind of issues.
I mean, I don't even think I'll be able to watch Crown Jewel, because doesn't it always happen in like the middle of the day on a weekday?
Yeah, it does.
No, it's October 21st.
I know, but it's gonna happen in the middle. Is that a Saturday?
October 21st sounds like a Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
It's gonna happen in the middle of the day
at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna happen at noon.
So,
yeah, like none of us are going to be able to watch it live. I have meetings and stuff.
They made their money.
Yeah, whatever. Any other?
They
thoughts
even
on
did
the
this
draft?
during the network, which sucked.
Yeah, they did. Like, any other thoughts on the draft before we move to what would be a Monday situation?
We go to SmackDown.
So, new and improved Vishal.
Hello.
New Vishal's dropped. So Monday. Do you watch Raw on Monday? I didn't.
I never watch Raw.
I thought I usually just turn it on, like I mentioned last time we recorded. This Monday I don't know what I was doing. It wasn't Raw. It wasn't watching Raw. So I know that there was some more like New Day, Big E, Bobby Lashley feuding stuff. But what are you doing?
I think I got quite far away from us.
Man, if it's not one thing, it's another.
Truly.
Are you good now?
Hold on. I gotta slot it. No. I gotta slot it into our chairs. Okay, this is better.
All right. I didn't watch Raw. I don't think anyone did.
Yeah, I didn't even like look at any highlights or anything like that.
No.
Bliss aware of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. So that happened. I did watch Being the Elite. Wasn't there wasn't a lot going on BT either. Actually, you know what? It was all the behind the scenes stuff for Grand Slam, which is really fun to see. Because what they've been doing now is just anytime Brandon comes out with the Bucks and whoever, he just records it on his phone. And I think that's really that's like a really fun, like, different thing. Like, one of my favorite things they did in New Japan was like they did like a very HD, like, kind of like behind, like on the outside of the ring, like kind of like setup for like an interview thing they did with Kenny, and they like recorded all that stuff for Wrestle Kingdom 11, and it was like I loved seeing that, like, in depth, like inside the ring, like look, because like caught stuff I didn't catch before. So Brandon bringing the camera to the ring is really fun.
He also, Adam Cole and Brandon had a moment, didn't they?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. See, I can't even keep track.
But also, what did happen is, it was funny. Matt was no selling how important 20,000 people in the stadium was the whole episode, and then and then when they get out there, like, Brandon's like, "How you feeling?" And Nick's like, "It's pretty wild, actually."
No, he said he yelled, "I feel nothing," because that's what he said.
I know, but when they got in the ring, Nick was like, "This is pretty wild, actually."
7 Tokyo Domes.
Seven Tokyo Domes. But yeah, that was fun. Like, just like I like seeing that behind the scenes stuff. Mm-hmm. Did you end up watching NXT on Tuesday, Michelle?
No, I didn't watch any wrestling after Extreme Rules, aside from like a bit of SmackDown for the draft. So I missed everything. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen.
You didn't miss that much.
You didn't really miss that much. Dynamite was... I liked Dynamite a lot, but there was some...
Are we just going to no-sell NXT 2.0?
Well, no. I'm not going to no-sell NXT 2.0. What I am going to tell you is that...
they had Braun Breaker talking like a 60-year-old man.
Yeah, they did. Braun Breaker, I have to say the full name now, or else you're going to think I'm talking about Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Did a promo where he said he doesn't want any friends, and then he's like, "No bones about it."
Make no bones about it. You'll see, like, and
yeah,
Tony D'Angelo has a rat tail.
Yeah, and he's premiering, this week on NXT.
Yeah, and they had him.
I'm gonna watch NXT.
They had him at the docks again. Mm-hmm. You can watch that full promo bit if you want on the WWE YouTube page, which is what I did because it was so inexplicable. I just needed to understand what was happening.
Yeah, I guess.
So he works at the docks and like swim with the fishes, the whole 9 yards. You know, any.
But in Chicago.
Unclear
now.
He hasn't mentioned Chicago since the first one.
Okay.
So they might have pivoted away from that. And I think the thing that frustrates me the most with NXT 2.0 is like it's so close to not being bad, but then the things that are bad about it stick out really sharply to me, because it's like, we've solved how people can be introduced, and even like in reality shows, like people can say, "Oh, I decided I'm not going to be that person anymore. Like, people just keep walking all over me, so I'm going to come out, claws out." And then, they have kind of a new twist on their personality the next time they come out. That so easily maps to changing or tweaking your wrestling gimmick that I can't for the life of me understand. Like, they're just no-selling these changes in gimmicks. They're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, which, it's developmental, that's fine. But it's like, they don't care about the consistent, or the through line of the product anymore.
Yeah, they're making it the WWE work show. It's just that they have this with USA that they're going to write till it's done, and we will get rid of it because USA won't like it.
Well, so apparently, according to the Fightful thing, USA doesn't mind it. Like, they're actually really excited by the new direction, which I think is interesting. Like, they like Ciampa as the champion.
Who doesn't?
As long as and we did get some really funny index bits.
Yeah. But that's been consistent for like months now.
Yeah, and I really do think it's Johnny as the champion for that, and probably those segments get good ratings, that they're just gonna continue allowing that to happen, which that's fine. if they had like a index the show on Netflix, I would watch the hell out of that. I think it would be good.
It would.
Johnny and Candace were spying on Index from a hotel at the beachfront, and Johnny didn't want them to get in the ocean, because that's a metaphor for sex. And Johnny also doesn't understand sex.
Seemingly.
He's like, what are they gonna do on their honeymoon? And Candace is like, do you remember our honeymoon?
And he's like, yeah.
And she's like that. So Johnny put on a shark mask, like a shark scuba mask, and got in the ocean when Indy and Dexter were about to go swimming, and Indy's like, oh no, a shark! Dexty, can you pick me up? And so he picked her up and carried her out of the ocean, and Johnny's like, yes! Like, he comes out and like takes the scuba mask off, and he's like, yes, it worked! And it's like, Candace is like, no, you idiot. Now they're gonna go in the hotel. So, it's just fun.
Yeah, and they went he broke into their hotel room to make sure that they had protection. And then they came back in when he was looking through their stuff, so he hid in the closet. And then they had a pillow fight on the bed, but he interpreted that as them having sex. So he was just traumatized in the closet.
Love this for Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when he came out, when they were asleep, he walks by and Dexter wakes up and gives him a thumbs up.
Yeah, that was good.
Like I said, all these segments are just, they consistently were good on NXT. Joe Gacy, even though they deleted all of his segments, I think it was a calculated thing they did. Because now he's like, they tried to cancel me, and now I'm,
It's not actually them they're manufacturing outrage so they can milk that for the kayfabe, which is a whole ass thing on multiple levels.
It's a lot. And the thing that does worry me is the direction for the women. It seems
this was ladies' night. That was the other
ladies' night. Take that as you will.
Because they were like, you know what we've forgotten in NXT 2.0? The ladies. And they did have Hit Row.
They had a bunch of ads about how NXT is about the women now.
Yeah. Oh, did they really? I missed that.
Yeah, there were a bunch of ads about that during Extreme Rules, I remember.
Christ. Yeah, so Hit Row came out to MC the show. Shout outs to Hit Row. And they that bit was fun. That was good. But then it still didn't really feel like it was about the women.
No. And what they did showcase after the women's NXT championship match, they brought Mandy Rose out. She held the belt up. That's clearly the direction they're going to be going. That is not the direction they should be going. That's the direction they're going.
I can't imagine Raquel stays on NXT and doesn't get moved up to the main roster.
Oh yeah, Raquel's being brought up. She should be, honestly. She is a main roster talent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it's so clearly okay, we gotta figure out what to do with the old stuff before we shuffle people around. And it just, but if anything, as a consolation, they've showed that they don't care about NXT canon once people get moved up. So any awkwardness will just be forgotten.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kyle did come out. Kyle did come out to beat up Pete Dunne. So good for you. Good for you, Kyle.
Yeah, just keep having that feud for another 6 months because I probably won't get tired of watching them wrestle.
That's true.
Yeah, they're good wrestling.
Poor Kyle.
Sorry, I wanted to actually talk about the interesting, some of the interesting things that happen on NXT.
I wasn't gonna gloss over NXT. I just was like,
you forget and you hop to Dynamite.
Mostly because I don't think anything incredibly remarkable happened on Dynamite. But
yeah, I feel like if I was going to miss a Dynamite, this was the one to miss.
Yeah, it was.
Especially because I'm not a Dark Order guy, which helps a lot.
But see, they featured actually less than you would think they would.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because they just kind of stuck them all in the one giant match, right?
Yeah, and like I liked it. It was emotional. It was good. It was like them kind of like coming together like on their own inside of the Dark Order without having like another person having to come in and say no. This is what we're doing, which I appreciated quite a bit. And like the crowd, I just was not a big fan of the crowd this week.
It really sucks. I don't know what or why it happened, but the Rochester crowd, for what was, in some ways a Brody Lee memorial show, was just really rancid. Just like lots of WWE brainworms infection, almost like in a bad, like the worst. Like we got what chants, and thankfully people were able to play into them, but
we got CM Punk chants during segments people didn't want to see. Yeah, it was not great.
Yeah,
that's
because
bad.
he was on commentary, and Punk is like, "You guys, I'm right here. Like, let these people do their thing." Like there were CM Punk chants pretty much in each segment, I would say, throughout the night.
Like whenever there was something going on that someone didn't like,
or they thought was boring, or whatever.
It was not.
Yeah. So,
how was New York better than that? Jeez.
I don't know. Like New York cheered for pretty much everyone.
Yeah, New York was like very into the whole thing. Like I don't think there were a couple of assholes in the crowd, but like the crowd as a whole, good, I think.
Yeah, even the Dark Order matches, the matches where Dark Order members featured, the crowd was less than enthusiastic about, like almost quiet. Which it was just like,
I'm trying to figure out what they cared the most about, but I don't think they cared the most about anything.
They reacted the most, I would say, probably to MJF's thing and whatever.
MJF and Darby,
yeah, and then Ethan, Scorpio, and Dan Lambert. But
Ethan and Scorpio talked, so it was fine.
Yeah, well, and they started doing the what chants, and then Ethan kind of countered that and was able to redirect that energy.
Which is a skill.
Yeah, it's a skill, and it worked very well as a heel, but it was
yeah,
just
I mean, it
weird.
Sounds like the crowd just reacted best to people they could heckle without, but they were asked about it anyway.
Yeah. And in the women's matches, the energy was just weird. I think they wanted to see...
I did watch Rampage, I should say.
Yeah, I can't remember what was the women's match on Dynamite. Because I know Britt had
it was segment. TJ. It was TJ versus
that's
yeah.
Which
sadly a bad match put on a Rancid crowd like that.
Yeah,
I like TJ, but they are two of the greenest wrestlers on the women's division that get TV time.
Yeah, like I think Tay is really good in solo matches. Like she's green, but I think her expertise in other things makes up for it.
Yeah.
And she's just so gosh darn dynamic. But the problem is Anna and Tay both being green, and this is one of the
Anna
first
coming off of
tagged.
injury and just has on top of that. It's great.
Yeah, and it clearly happened because it was a Brody, and -1 probably wanted it as well because he loves both of them with good reason. And they did have a nice moment at the end that was probably like one of the most emotional moments of the week as far as AEW television. But the actual like they came out in matching gear, they had a Mortal Kombat music, that was really cool, but
it was fun.
The crowd was just like not into it, and Britt was not in the ring this week at all. And
they did have like vignettes. So
they had vignettes, but I feel like that crowd, for whatever reason, really wanted to have Britt. Like they were waiting for it. I don't know. It was just a weird energy. And
the crowd just might have been angry because they didn't get all the marquee wrestlers they wanted.
Yeah. That was kind of my thinking.
Adam, how did I forget this? Adam versus Jungle Boy was great.
Yeah, that was the opener. It was really
actually
good.
Sad. I'm probably going to go back and
watch
that
it.
This week.
It was really good. I think we've turned a corner with the Elite in regards to like screwy finishes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Adam cheated a little to get the upper hand, but he was gonna win anyway. But it was like he made a point in his vignette on Tuesday to say, I'm gonna win without the super click, and then you'll see how elite I really am. Like, so he's making a point to like say, I'm gonna win clean. I'm gonna win these matches clean.
I have bad memories of Adam Cole doing that. Sorry.
It's okay. I understand, but he did. They didn't cheat in his match. Like,
yeah,
they didn't.
That's the worst.
So I will say that one thing that I did find unsavory was after that match, the Bucks came down. Obviously they're hurting Jungle Boy. Like, there's a segment in the ring, like Kenny starts like giving his what for to Brian, and then Brian comes down and he like
yeah, I did see this. He cut a WWE promo.
Yeah, he did. And I think it was unfortunate because it is a WWE promo, and it's unfortunate because
of the Rancid crowd, the chant.
The crowd was very into it.
Yeah. And
like, it bothered me, but I wouldn't have even necessarily been that bothered if the energies had like clicked. But they didn't feel like they did, like, so it just is what it is. Hopefully we can recover from it and move on. And
I just don't want that to be a chant that follows Kenny around now. Like, that will be horrendous if that happens. Like you could have said so many other things about Kenny's character at this point in time. Why was it that?
It was very WWE in the sense that it was repeating the thing that he had already said before. Like, because it was a repeating of last week. It was just like, this is my thing. This is what I'm gonna say when I'm in the ring with Kenny. And it's just like, there's so many different things that you could say about it. I don't know why, like, just plainly, like, you being like, you have no balls, you don't have the balls to face me.
You don't have the guts. Kenny, you've lost your heart. What happened to you? You don't have so many things you could have said.
It seems like you've lost your passion for professional wrestling, or like
you've lost your pride.
Hollow. Yeah. Like, there's so many more things that get to the gut of like why both of them are in the business, and more to the point, like, reestablish what Brian said when he first got into an AEW ring at All Out. Like, it's just like I said, hopefully they workshop it from here and we get something better, because it just feels like, not only does it feel very WWE, but it just doesn't, and not only am I bothered by it, but it doesn't feel like a good thing to be building the core of the Bryan Danielson character around, like, have him, like, he's here because he cares about professional wrestling. He has that fire. He's the American Dragon,
like, he's everything Kenny's not right now.
Yeah.
Like, in spirit. Like, in spirit.
What I will do this, because I think Danielson has talked about this himself, so is that he doesn't want to be the guy who's there because he loves professional wrestling. He wants to be the guy that's there because he wants to kick everyone's heads in.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Like, it is a violent and mean streak that he's there. And I think that's also, like, so to go a little on Rampage a bit, like his match with Nick and also his match with Kenny last week, he's doing this thing where he'll hold an illegal hold for 4 seconds, then tell the ref, I have till 5.
Yeah.
And it's clearly like he's trying to wrestle heel, but wrestle mean.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to play very differently when everyone was like, oh, Christian's going to turn on. I think Brian be the first one to do it.
Oh yeah, I think you're right there. And that match with Nick on Friday, absolute banger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know, like, a lot of people like to joke about Nick having a singles run, and lots of people like to yuck on the Young Bucks as well. But I think, if nothing else, this at least served to remind us, like, both of them are great professional wrestlers, and Nick especially is a great professional wrestler, and it was
casual Brian's casual poison Rana from the ropes onto the floor. No,
Nick doing the sharpshooter, which is something Matt does.
His brother's move. Yeah. No, I Brian is wrestling me. I think like there is some energy. There's been a change in energy in the Elite since All Out. I don't know if you would agree, Vishal, but I see it. Like the energy has been changed a little. I don't know to what end, but I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, I don't know. It was also weird. It was a weird crowd.
Yeah.
It was a very weird crowd. And then like it also didn't help that I think we talked about off of this a little bit, but like the women's triple threat on Rampage did not have a great finish, and the crowd was especially bad because of it, I think.
Yeah, it was also just like the match up until that point was good, but like that finish could have gone several different ways, and then it just didn't. And like it was just so weird, especially with how like Jade's been building. Like I get you don't want her, like I criticized WWE for it earlier, so I feel completely warranted in criticizing AEW for it. Like it just seems like you're killing the momentum of a babyface, and it feels like a WWE-esque booking move.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really does.
It did. It did.
I understand you don't want to, make the big monster that you're building, but like Nyla's already been built as a monster. She could easily eat the pin. Hell, I would even have Jade pin her.
Why wouldn't you put? Yeah, why was Nyla in the match?
I don't know why it was Jade pinning Rosa. That was strange.
Yeah.
It was just weird. And Nyla was like the one person that was like super, super over with the crowd. Like the pop for Rosa when her music came on was like probably the loudest I heard that crowd.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and they were angry. And you know what? They were right to be angry from that being the finish.
So
yeah,
and I don't.
Weird.
Yeah, that was weird. And then just the weird energy of the hair versus hair match.
Yeah.
God.
Bizarre. Like that's what I'll call it. Like this week in AEW was a little bizarre.
But you know what? I'm glad that Sammy and Miro, that was a
oh
really
my
good
god,
match.
yeah. Duh.
I missed that yeah. I know Sammy won. I'm honestly not the happiest about it, but I just don't really like Sammy that.
I love Sammy, but that's because he's like my awful Quentin Quire son. Like that's the energy he reminds me of. And I think it's good. Like the whole vlog crew came out.
It was sweet.
And the thing is, he's even like, because he used to be that snarky asshole who thinks he's better than everyone, and now he has friends, so he's like grown in a way that comics would never let Quentin Quire grow. Just gonna serve you that.
No, yeah,
one.
I very much like why it was good. I just also would have been happy if Miro killed like 10 more people with the belt.
Yeah.
But there was something I saw which was like the TNT title has been changing hands fairly rapidly, especially compared to every other title that AEW has, and I think that makes it exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it could
we
change.
know when he's losing. We know he's not losing it anytime he's in the ring with anyone who isn't Hangman.
Yeah.
And that, while it's good to look forward to that, it does lead to things like the triple threat, which was a decent match, but we always knew Kenny was winning that. And I like to be surprised. I like to see things I don't expect. And the TNT title is that for now, and I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is the side plates of the TNT title when Miro had it apparently had a proverb from like Miro's like childhood and like where he comes from that's like he will face like something like the city is built on 8 great hills, but like after 7 like something will fall, like something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like Miro had 8 like big opponents, but he could only last through 7 of them. So that that being an intentional element of the structure of his title reign, I think makes that more meaningful to me as well. Like if that's what he wanted to do, because that's the story he wanted to tell, like the giant being felled by, the young up and comer. I think that's a good story.
Yeah, and also just giving Miro this daring weakness makes him even more meaningful of a monster. Because
and Sammy did the tornado DDT.
You can beat him. Like Fuego got so close to beating him, and he's Fuego.
Sammy beat him by doing the tornado DDT.
It was nice.
Yeah, which is like that's the kind of shit that I love in wrestling, is people using their friends or their lovers or their brothers or sisters moves.
Well, Kenny can't do Coda or shit, so what are we talking about? Yeah,
like
Coda can't even land at this point.
We're not talking about that. New Japan is inexplicable right now.
You know what? We should talk about New Japan actually, because I have thoughts. Even though I liked what happened today in the G1, I do have some thoughts.
Oh, I actually don't know what happened today in the G1.
Well, let me just finish about Dynamite really quick.
Yeah.
So, that was a really good ending moment in Dynamite, in Rampage.
No, it was Dynamite.
That was Dynamite.
TNT match happened.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm glad that was the main event, and that felt really good.
Did you hear Bobby Fish is coming to town?
Yes, that was what I was going to say. So, on Wednesday during Roads to the Top, they cut Roads to the Top, a pre-taped reality show, and cut in Sammy getting congratulated backstage and challenging Bobby Fish, and Bobby Fish accepting and TK booking that match. And so then on the announcement graphic, Bobby Fish's shirt had a small AEW logo
on the bottom.
So we're gonna have Adam.
Bobby Fish is all elite.
Yeah, that'll be.
Well, we're gonna have Brian and Adam and Bobby Fish all in the same promotion.
I mean, Bobby Fish and Adam Cole seeing each other backstage, being like,
yeah. I just want to see a weird backstage segment where like Adam Cole just Bobby Fish and freezes and walks away, and that's it.
Yeah. So that's something that's happening, and that's fun. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. There is.
Sorry, thank you for getting to the point that I wanted to
Also,
make.
we missed one other thing that happened on Wednesday, which was Arn Anderson basically admitting to murder. So.
Oh my god, the Arn Glock memes, I will cherish them as long as they keep them coming.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
That was the funniest thing that's ever happened on Dynamite,
Yeah.
I think, was Arn just
yelling at Cody.
Oh. Vishal, your audio.
Your audio. Oh no, you're quiet.
We can see you talking.
I think I'm back.
Okay, yes. Yeah, was wild.
Yeah, it was good. So I know you did say that you've really been enjoying Kyle on NXT, but how would you feel about Red Dragon 2.0?
No, I'm always down with it. I think so. Kyle on NXT is like the best parts are when he's being a total dweeb, and it worked a lot better when he was.
Yeah.
And I think they like bringing Red Dragon back. Like, I'd love to see them do that, because I think Kyle also just worked better when he has some bounce off of.
Yeah. Red Dragon 2.0, I think, is a great idea.
Or whatever they want to call it.
But it's Red Dragon. They were Red Dragon.
They can be Red Dragon. Yeah, they own that, I think.
Oh, yeah. I'm just like, I don't want to. The one thing I've learned about AEW is I don't want to presuppose people resuming old tag team names or AKAs, because some people have wanted to use that as a fresh start. So
I think there's ways to do it and inject new life into it. Kind of like Adam, like, he didn't come back to his old Ring of Honor theme, but he put trappings of like his Ring of Honor
number one metal track on iTunes.
Number one metal track on iTunes. So that would be fun. I'm excited to see Bobby Fish. I'm excited to maybe see Malachi. There was a promo from Malachi in Rampage.
Oh god, yeah,
where he was like, "I'm you, Cody, leave, go away."
Yeah. Back to the G1. So the G1's been strange. Just strange. Not everybody that should be in a G1, the G1 is in the G1.
Zack Sabre Jr.'s had some really banger matches.
It feels like he's on track to win it, honestly.
Probably. Much as Charlie.
Either win it or be the guy who the winner beats.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the finals.
There are two wolves inside of me. One that says Zack Sabre Jr. is great and he's had great matches and he probably should win the G1. And the other wolf, it says no other Gaijin except for Kenny Omega should ever win the G1.
The other weird thing is Zack is one half of the current tag team champions, with Taichi as Dangerous Tekkers. Yeah. So for him to win the G1 while being tag champ would just be, I mean, let's face it, New Japan booking has been weird, but that would be weird on top of weird for New Japan booking. Like, they don't book like that. Like, they just don't. So, like, the G1, maybe more than anything else in New Japan, is supposed to mean something.
Yeah.
And because it does have this legacy of, like, the new, like, proving yourself through the G1 is just so tremendous because it's so grueling. You have these matches through all these small little towns, and because you don't know you're going to win, so you have to work as hard, like, do the work and prove yourself and give good promos and get over with the fans. And that's how they determine who's going to be the winner. Mm-hmm. So so Zack I watched his match with Shingo Takagi.
Is the IWGP heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
So Zack has a shot at the title now, regardless.
Yeah, right, regardless. It was an incredible match, and he put Shingo in an actual legitimate armbar that he held, like, didn't work enough. Like, the extension was so full, like, that it had to have hurt. And that's how I think Shingo tapped, I think. Even if the hold was to 3, like, Shingo was in a bad way. But I do think Shingo tapped. But the weird thing is that Kota Ibushi now has also beat
Shingo,
who is the current champ. So now both Zack and Ibushi have chances at the title. And your champ has now lost several times during your most prestigious tournament where...
Yeah, so my thought on all of this really is that, like, I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know if this is actually feasible, but I was thinking this even before, like, the G1 started, where I think, like you said, Mikey, the G1 has to mean something. There has to be, like, a sense of earning it behind it. And it felt to me like, obviously can't stand one of the people behind this, but the idea to me was Shingo would win it and would challenge Ospreay to unify the belts, because Ospreay's running around with his fat belt right now and doing shit. And there's also this huge Shingo never beating Ospreay in just a standard one-on-one match. Like, that's a thing. So it feels very, like, ordained that Shingo's the G1 as champion and challenges Ospreay to unify the titles, finally prove himself. And it also feels very New Japan that Ospreay would win that because they fucking love that dude. I can't stand it.
Yeah, I know some people say he's not that over, but he really is. Like, they only
with management, he's over, even if the crowd doesn't love him as much.
They love young Will, who can do no, like, who has been presented as someone that could do no wrong, because unfortunately the speaking out stuff just doesn't make it.
I said this, and across the board with my friends, it's not a hot take, but it is the take I will put out. Will Ospreay is the wrestler that the haters love to say the Young Bucks are. All flips, no psychology.
Yes. So the first Ospreay match I ever watched was this year's Wrestle Kingdom against Okada. And my entire feeling through the match was Ospreay is so clearly choreographed everything he does and emotion put into any of it. And Okada is so clearly putting all of his emotion into every single thing he does. And it feels much more meaningful when Okada does anything versus Ospreay does anything.
Yep.
So,
just don't understand appeal.
So what I'm assuming then, Ospreay is obviously getting the belt from Shingo, who wins the G1. And then all these other people have the right to challenge, and that's a way to draw eyeballs and subs.
Oh, I saw it differently. I saw that Shingo would defend his briefcase against all the people who beat him, the briefcase and the title on the tour to Wrestle Kingdom, like Ibushi did against Jay and then lost. But I think Shingo would defend it like every time and then would win, and then would go against Ospreay and lose because that's what they like to do.
Either that or there's going to be some kind of weird triple, like, because the thing is, I do think, like, people aren't going to want rematches of Shingo versus Ibushi and Shingo versus...
Shingo and Ibushi never got to wrestle, like, the match they were going to wrestle for the title.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
I think they are going to do something with that. I don't know.
I just, like, I'm trying to weigh in my head, do they think people would want to watch that more, or do they think people would want to watch, like, Ospreay versus those two guys?
I think what we know for sure is that New Japan doesn't know what people want to watch.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
New Japan would also say we got Ospreay versus Kota already. That happened. That's done. We don't need to do that again, really.
Yeah. And they would also say that what I thought they would do, because it's safe. It's like safe. We can put it in a little box. It can be what we present to everyone. Just give the belt to Okada.
That's my other thing is I think it's very possible Okada beats Zack Sabre Jr. in the G1 finals to win it.
Like, you strap the belt to Okada, he's gonna go to the moon.
Legitimate. He brings legitimacy back to that belt.
Yeah. You know.
Which is sad because I think Shingo should have the legitimate title, but his entire career has been being screwed by Ospreay and by everyone else.
Like, what sucks is, like, the matches that he's in that I've watched aren't bad. No. Like, they're very good matches. It's just so clearly the booking just isn't there. Yeah. Shingo, come to AEW and we can get the Japanese Dragon versus the American Dragon.
Yeah, do it.
Shingo,
want.
just slap everyone always. Please keep hitting them. Keep hitting them, Shingo.
Also, the truth. So Ospreay keeps trying to generate this heat online. So when Kenny won the PWI 500, Ospreay decided to tweet at Kenny about something. I don't even remember what he said. But then Kenny was like, excuse me, but your promotion's been cold ever since I left. And then Ospreay deleted his tweet.
So if you do, however, want to watch well-booked, meaningful, psychological Japanese wrestling, Wrestle Universe, currently, you get 4 months for free, essentially. Because they're like charging like $1 or something and then not charging again until January. They just upgraded their website. I haven't changed my account yet, but it's beautiful. DDT put on Chris Brooks versus Konosuke Takeshita, who was on the House Always Wins house show. That match is incredible. It has something for everyone. It has the emotion. It has the technical prowess. It has the high spots. People cry. It has bleeding. There's a little bit of blood. There's people crying at the end. It is incredible. And it is, Wrestle Universe is always one of the greatest deals in wrestling because you get Tokyo Joshi Pro. Like, this is just a legit fact. There's like 4 or 5 promotions on their service. And now you get all of that, like, 4 months for the price of one or some ridiculous whatever deal it is. And the site is like easy to use. It's all in English. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, if you are not sure about DDT, you've always heard that they're the comedy promotion. Oh, that's where Kenny got his comedy chops before going to New Japan. Not true. Like, he did wrestle some very serious and good matches there as well. Prince Devitt, that's where he got started.
Yeah, you can go watch Finn Balor back in
because they're still kind of migrating
You can go watch Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi at BootyCon 2012.
But go watch my like match of the month, probably. Even over Daniel Bryan and Kenny was really good. But this is just like clearly just 2 friends just having it out. And just wrestling an incredible match.
And DDT loves their like 2 friends having it out, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a good trope.
It's a good trope.
And it's a good match. Oh, and it's in Corkin Hall. The esteemed Corkin Sumo Hall. So that's what I gotta shout out. I've made time to watch it on Monday and I do not regret it at all.
Yeah, I hope New Japan just starts, like, I hope things start to level out there. I hope things start to get interesting again. There just is no story.
Oh, speaking of things changing, there's some weird shit going on in Bullet Club.
Yeah.
They have their House of Torture with Evil. I don't remember which one of Yo or Show is there, but one of those two. I think it's Show. And
Show turned into he went cleaner.
Yeah. And what's his name? What?
Yujiro?
Yujiro.
Randomly? Dick Togo's murder party.
There, and then Heat Kota Ibushi.
No, we don't talk about that.
For him.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about
Yujiro's going to the moon.
So Dick Togo is not booking all of New Japan, but he pitched that booking decision and that got over with management. So now he is directing the House of Torture.
That's my thumbs down. Weird stuff's happening in Bullet Club. I don't know why. It is a shell of its former self. And I have
ELP came back to Impact.
ELP's in Impact. Jay's in the United States. There is a Casino Battle Royale ladder match on Dynamite this Wednesday for a shot at the title. There is a Joker. If that Joker is not Hangman, I will bet you money that it is Jay White. I think Jay is physically incapable of wrestling a bad match at this point, unless he's injured. Yeah.
So honestly, he should be on AEW and not on Impact, because Impact. I want to love Impact. Su Young is doing this cool thing. I want to love it. I can't force myself to watch it because there's so much dead air. There's so much that just doesn't work. Even more so than WWE. WWE is at least good as background noise. Impact, I just every 15 seconds, and it doesn't fucking matter. But anyway, I've gone on about Impact. It's just like you can't even watch it casually.
Yeah, I think if Hangman doesn't come back in this, it's a perfect way to get someone right to the top where they need to be. So if it's not Hangman, I mean, because that ladder match, I don't know if you know who's in that ladder match, Michelle, but it is stacked.
It is ridiculous. Yeah, I saw it during Rampage who they announced for it.
Yeah, and the Joker. I think if it's not Hangman, if it is Jay, that does open a door. Because I think
door, if you will,
it does.
Yeah, if it's Jay, that means we can have a full year match and then have Hangman return after that.
Yeah, if it's Jay, there is some very specific connective story tissue there.
Yeah,
that we can pull.
I know people want him to come back in a wrestling sense. I really don't think it's Hangman yet, just because I did some investigation just because I was curious on and obviously he could have waited to announce his wife's pregnancy. He could have delayed, but I just don't think the timelines match up of his wife being due. I think he wanted to go help her because being extremely pregnant is not a fun thing to deal with completely by yourself in the woods of Virginia. So I think it's completely understandable, but I just don't think she's due yet, or he is coming back.
Which is fine.
I want him to have.
He can have the time, but in the meantime, give Kenny something else to grab onto.
Just keep throwing people at. Just
keep throwing people at Kenny.
Eventually,
that are siphoning off into this very New Japan-esque situation. Because now we have people. I started with Christian. Continued with Brian, and if it goes to someone like Jay, people that are capable of having those threatening New Japan level matches with Kenny, at that style, and it springs something to the story, they can elevate it to another level. So I'm happy if it's Jay. I think it might be. Please, dear God, don't let it be Will Ospreay.
Even if it's not just Kenny matches, I would love to see the Super Click versus Jay White, Chris Bay, and even ELP, if that's the only Bullet Club member they've got. I think that could be a good match. I really do. There's enough
Leo Rush is back.
Oh yeah, I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Even if
it does seem like his initial or his second retirement announcement was more out of fear from his injury than
Yeah.
him
Which
needing
is-
to. But I'm very happy that he's feeling comfortable and healthy enough to return.
Yeah. Please, please, please. There is a God. Please let Leo Rush free Private Party
Mhm.
from the claws of Matt Hardy and just like slide over to whatever weird stonks go up faction that Leo Rush is building. Like, the thing is, like, I don't even hate Matt Hardy, just whatever the HFO has been.
The HFO is like,
This
It's
is
just
the
where
worst Matt
they-
Hardy has ever been, I think.
yeah, everyone sits there. That's what
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
And the only people that have made good of it have been the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny, and then Penelope Ford, but just because they have such a good charisma with each other and such a good accord that they can make it work. But like, what is if Matt Hardy's hired them to do stuff? Why are they doing what they're doing? No reason. Like, it's inexplicable.
Yeah.
Just Matt needs
Just
to
this gigantic mid-card
That's-
faction that we don't need.
Yeah. I mean, I think we do need a mid-card
We
heel
do,
faction,
we do.
but there's no
It's not
reason
this.
why they're doing what they're doing. And I think that's
Mhm.
why, in a lot of ways, the hair versus hair match was so disappointing to so many people, because if Matt had shaved his head, then he, maybe more than anyone else, would treat an Apuestas match with the gravity, or at least from a character sense, that it deserves. Because like, the thing is, we tend to think of hair versus hair, mask versus hair, like eye for an eye, or whatever you're calling it. They're always comedy
Jesus.
matches, and that's not what they're meant to be. Like, that's why, several years down the road, the Lucha Brothers have been very open about the fact that they want a hair versus mask to be their last match with the Young Bucks or whatever, like that to be the big one, because in the Lucha tradition, an Apuestas match is held to, like, that's even higher than a title match. That'll main event.
I mean, you could just look at Triple Mania. Andrade
Right,
versus
exactly.
Kenny was the semi-main because an Apuestas match was the main event.
Right. And we just kind of, it's just kind of a joke thing and it kind of was for the main event of Rampage too. Like, as much as I liked Chuck coming out in a barber suit and Chris having like a towel animal, like, the match going into it the build and the match itself didn't feel like it had the gravity, like it didn't hold my attention.
Matt Hardy was just like, I want to cut your hair off. And we were all like, why?
Why?
Yeah, and Orange is like,
I don't even know what's happening here.
I don't know what's happening. And they're like, oh, if you lose, you have to cut your hair. And he's like, well, fuck.
I guess I'll win then.
Like, it
Yeah.
feels like they want Orange to be the guy that they can do all the wacky stipulations with. So he'll no-sell it all.
Yeah.
But
Which is so frustrating because he's so clearly more than that. Like,
He's in the ladder match.
yeah. Well, and we'll link it in the description.
he was in
but-
the last ladder match too, so hopefully he'll have a bit of a better showing.
Showing,
this time.
Yeah, yeah.
He does have a bone to pick with Kenneth Omega. So
He does, yeah.
yeah.
Like, and Charlie and I watched a really good video essay on the history of Orange Cassidy and what his whole career has looked like, and his previous gimmick is Fire Ant. And like, a lot of people will no-sell how good, or like downplay, to use a less industry term, how much serious wrestling chops and serious, like, dramatic chops Orange Cassidy has because of the comedic nature of his gimmick, while forgetting, or like, say he's a bullshit wrestler who only does comedy, and they forget that he was like one of the hottest indie wrestlers in Fire Ant when he was in the Colony. And I'm not as familiar with this Jakar career because of reasons, speaking out being one of them. But it helped me gain an appreciation for like why he's so important. Like, obviously, to me, he's an incredible performer and an incredible wrestler, but it helped me see, like, I hope they turn down the wacky knob a little bit, like, and pump up like how he can be a serious main event contender if they want him to be.
Which they don't. Like, not really. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that to disparage anybody. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, I didn't realize how old he was
Yeah.
Like, I saw him when he first showed up. I saw him as the guy that, like, I don't know, like 5-10 years down the line, they'll give him a quick title reign for the huge pop that it would happen. But no, I don't think they see him as that. He might get the TNT title. I think that's very likely, but they're not going to put the world title on him.
He's been this, like, if Orange had won the world championship at Double or Nothing, like, at least even for like a week.
Yeah, even if he lost it the immediate Dynamite following. Like,
yeah, it would have been something.
I think they're worried about doing these really quick reigns like that because obviously WWE has kind of ground a lot of their time into the dirt by this weird hotshot booking and also just like this very clear lack of care for the titles.
For the
Yeah.
Like their tag division especially, but even otherwise.
Yeah, I would like to see, especially now that we've got like a lot of what are gonna be big guys in the future. Like, I would love to see more of, first off, I think CM Punk versus Orange Cassidy would be incredible. Just gonna say that. I would love to see, I can't remember whether he's ever been in a bout with Will Hobbs, but I think that could be really interesting. Like, big guys versus the small agile guy is really good, and Orange is just like, he can put on a good match with anyone. I would like to see him be kind of this person that's obviously skill level wise above the mid card, but he kind of exists as someone for like guys that are rising up the card to face as kind of like a minotaur at the gate. So I hope now that this weird HFO thing is kind of done that we can see something more interesting for him.
Hopefully.
Because and the thing is, like, it's been stupid. The Best Friends are so good at just everything they do that it's just been like the best thing that he's been involved in has been encouraging Chris, and he deserves a more active role than that. If only we had intergender, that could be great.
Blame Turner Network Television.
Yeah.
I think that's really all that happened this week, other than like SmackDown was fine. Like, it was Kevin Owens.
I didn't watch SmackDown.
Oh yeah, Kevin, they're booking Kevin like he's already said he's not coming back. Like, they just fucking jobbed him out on the apron. It was really depressing, actually.
Okay, but they needed to put over Madcap Moss. He gotta put over Madcap Moss.
The word that no one uses anymore at all.
Okay. Yeah, you gotta get Happy Corbin.
The great duo WWE.
Okay, listen.
History.
Vishal, I want to talk to you about the fact that they're calling the end of days Happy Days now.
No.
Yes.
I missed that. Oh my god.
Corbin.
Let that one sink in for a second.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Well, and also like the weird implications of like why Seth is in WWE Superstar Edge, real name Adam Copeland's house.
Yeah.
And we don't really know why. Like, is he there to?
It's not even the time WWE's. They had Samoa Joe at AJ Styles' house.
Yeah, like,
well,
and say hi to his wife.
But here's the weird thing: like, if you meant it to be threatening, like, what is the implication there? Like, what if, like, you know what I mean? Like, that feels very strange to me. Like, what was Seth gonna do if Beth and the kids had been home? Like, assault Beth and like intimidate the children? That's weird. And that obviously that was not going to be a thing that was going to happen on this program because WWE. But then why do it at all? Like, there's just so many holes in the whole thing. And it's funny it's funny, but it's also weird. Like,
yeah, like
no, so I don't know what they're doing with Seth, because I think his second match against Edge, the one at Madison Square Garden, was pretty good, and the ending was like Seth is genuinely unsure of what to do now because it wasn't as satisfying to him as he thought it would be.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe he'll go do something else, literally anything else. But
no,
he went to Adam Copeland's house.
Yeah. He didn't go to Edge's house. He went to Adam Copeland's house.
Or like if it had been I'm at your house and I'm here to put on your clothes and like try to
That
fully
would- yeah.
yeah, like
That
I'm
would
not
be
sure
wild.
who to be, so I'm gonna be you, or like learn what makes you tick, like be this like psychological guy. Like that
Yeah.
would be interesting. I don't think Seth is that good of an actor to pull it out,
No.
but it would at least be an interesting direction rather than just like, I'm on your chair, I'm eating an apple, delicious. Like what the fuck? So anyway, you know,
Yeah.
WWE,
And
WWE continues to be WWE.
And
Oh,
Carmella's
fuck.
terrible mask.
I didn't see that, or I saw pictures of it, but ooh,
And she beat Liv in a minute.
50-50 booking.
Yeah, cool. This feud must continue, I guess.
Sorry to all the Liv fans on Twitter.
There's a lot of Liv
There's
fans,
a-
and I respect
There
them.
are. I respect them. I'm genuinely like
Liv
Liv
Nation.
Liv is a better.
No, yeah, I
wrestler
very
than how
much
they're-
support this. Like,
Yeah.
find your passion, love Liv Morgan if that's what you do.
Also,
Yeah.
she's a better wrestler than the booking that she's getting deserves.
Yeah.
So, you know, WWE stuff.
What do we got coming up? Next week we have a large casino battle royale ladder match. We have
That's gonna be another. big
Where
one,
is
Mike.
Dynamite and Rampage
it is
next
in
week?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Um,
so we're gonna. They already did an interview with the best friends, so I guess I almost forgot that. So I guess pardon what I said earlier about being frustrated about where the best friends are at. We're gonna get something with them. Probably. I would if Trent doesn't come back, I'll be
it's
shocked.
the 2-year anniversary of Dynamite.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, so they need some stuff. Maybe Hangman comes back. I don't know.
Like that's all I was thinking. So like we'll see if Hangman comes back. We'll see what
I
this
do think
Jo-
Trent comes back from injury.
Yeah,
'cause
we'll
it's
see what this
hometown.
So
Joker
wait, so
brings-
do we think if Hangman comes back and wins the whole damn thing, he wins the belt at Full Gear?
Yes.
Or does Kenny dodge him a little longer?
No, you can dodge Hangman for a month because the cool thing about the ladder match when
It guarantees the title
it
shot.
guarantees
Yeah.
you the title shot, and there's no way for Kenny to like preempt it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he could
Well,
politic.
what if Kenny gets the Sonic ring? What if he runs into the ladder match and runs up the ladder and pulls down the Sonic ring?
I'd laugh.
Kenny Omega, if you're listening to this, I gave you an idea.
I'd laugh about it.
Speed running. strats.
I would very much laugh about it. I'd also, it's, we'll see. I would say.
Oh, also, I want to say the structure of the ladder match is bizarre. At
It's so
some point, they
strange.
need to just like have someone pull it down before the Joker comes out,
yeah.
because otherwise, what's the point of this like timed release thing?
Yeah. That's you know, sometimes the AEW
Gimmicks.
like gimmicks of like we need to do this differently than everyone else has done it, so we're gonna add a timer. Sometimes it works okay, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Imagine if Money in the Bank mixed with Royal Rumble. That's what this is.
It is.
It's baffling.
And those two things
I mean, it's
should
better.
be good.
It's better than the fucking X Division thing that they have on Impact, where it's like got two ropes, one going catty corner on the ring post one way and one going the other way, and then they have to like fucking American Ninja Warrior across to get to the ladder to get to the thing. Have you seen some of the footage that AJ and Christian Cage and Matt Hardy have been in?
Yeah, the Ultimate X match is
Yeah,
an
Ultimate
incredible
X, that's-
situation.
I mean, it's incredible, but it's also like, why the fuck is this happening on my television right now? Other than extreme.
Oh, Christian versus Josh Alexander happening at Bound for Glory, which I think means that the Impact title will finally live in Impact World. Thankfully.
Everything I know about Josh Alexander, he's
he's
an
great.
amazing wrestler.
He's
So
great.
you know what? Kudos to him.
More power to him.
I will not be watching.
Yeah. And then Darby and MJF have started a feud. So there you go. That's it. So that's all I got.
Watch GDT.
Yeah, and watch DDT. Go get Wrestle Universe. Anybody else have anything else?
No,
Okay. All right.
I'm just chilling, you know.
I just wanted to check. All right. Well, that's been this week. Sorry we didn't watch all the programming.
Whatever. Like,
Yeah, I was busy traveling and stuff. My fault.
how dare you have a real life Vishal? The reason Will isn't on here is because he had a concert to go to. Like, who does
good
these
for him.
things?
Yeah, who
No,
does who
good.
does stuff. All
Good for
right. Well, that's this week.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, join us next week as we talk about probably more WWE Draft. We'll see.
We'll talk about the casino ladder match.
We'll see what little goodies it got in store for us. Next
when does
week.
the G1 end? I actually.
Good question.
Yeah, there's also I also feel like there might be, when's the Mox and Nick Gage thing?
Oh, the finals are October 21st. Okay, so we got a little ways to go.
Oh, next week I will be talking about GCW Fight Club, which is the Mox versus
Nice.
Gage, because that is next Saturday.
Yeah.
So
we'll talk about that next week, and we'll see.
That should be an interesting match.
We'll see what this week of Dynamite 2-year anniversary brings us. Hopefully not pain and suffering. Other than that, that's all I got. In any case, you can find us. What I'm gonna say, and I never thought I would say this in a serious manner whatsoever. Please like and subscribe our YouTube channel.
Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up. If you like the videos that we do here and like to see us do more things, please give us a thumbs up.
What thumbs ups do is they make it more likely for the video to be recommended either in someone's homepage or as a similar content thing. So that's why thumbs up are good.
So like and subscribe, thumbs up the page, Comics X Fight on YouTube. It is also that on Twitter. You can find things there. There's actually going to be a lot of wrestling content this week. I'm actually going to put out an article or two this week from some amazing people that I'm working with right now. So continue to look and view and come to Comics XF is our home website. You can find me on Twitter at Genetic Ghost. Don't find me there. There's only a handful of things there that maybe interest you, maybe they don't. But that's where you can find my stuff. Go ahead, Mikey.
I'm at quantum ... on Twitter. I post a lot of pictures of our cats, if that's a thing that interests you. Rosita and Winnipeg. So, yeah, also wrestling sometimes.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr.
You can find me at Vgola87. I don't tweet and then I'll retweet video game memes. So have fun with that.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to boost. Our good friend Forrest did a article for Polygon about Venom, the new Venom movie. So please go read. They did a spoiler free and a spoiler full. So if you're interested or intrigued by Eddie Brock being in love with his symbiote pal, go check that out.
Mm-hmm. That is it for this week. Again, join us next week as we do what we do best. We just talk about this week in wrestling.
Yeah, just kind of hang out. Yeah.
Ba-bang.